Welcome to this explainer, where we dive into the localized risks and exact solutions for water damage. You know, if you own property, you already know water is basically one of the most destructive forces on Earth. But how that water behaves, how fast it destroys, and exactly how we mitigate it, well, that actually depends heavily on where your home sits. So today, we're breaking down the specific, hyperlocal realities of water intrusion right here in Colonial Heights, Virginia. So why is Colonial Heights such a magnet for water damage? I mean, it isn't just about bad luck, and it's certainly not just a random plumbing failure. As our source material reveals, we are looking at a perfect storm of geography, aging infrastructure, and climate. We're going to explore why properties in this specific region are practically sitting on a ticking clock, and more importantly, what professional mitigation actually looks like when that clock finally goes off. Because dealing with a flooded home is absolute chaos, here's our calming step-by-step roadmap for the explainer. 1. The Colonial Heights water trap. 2. The 48-hour ticking clock. 3. Cleanup versus true restoration. 4. The 3-step process. And finally, number 5, navigating your insurance claim. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the Colonial Heights water trap. What's really fascinating here is just how hyperlocal this problem is. Over in the White Bank area, you've got expansive clay soil that literally cracks foundations, basically inviting groundwater straight into your basement. Near Swift Creek, homes are facing severe seasonal river flooding. Then you look at Lakeview, where aging 1970s plumbing and cast iron drain lines are just corroding from the inside out. And oh, let's not forget our lovely Virginia climate. That notoriously thick yellow car-coating pollen, it actually clogs HVAC condensate lines, which silently sends water overflowing right into your ceilings during those humid summer months. Crazy, right? And here is the really sneaky part, the silent life cycle of a winter leak. We get those hard January freezes here that expand the water inside uninsulated pipes. When those aging galvanized pipes inevitably rupture, you might not even know it right away. It's usually during the spring thaw that those pinhole leaks start spraying water inside your wall cavities. It can literally go on for days, silently soaking into the drywall and freaming way before you ever notice a single stain. Now that we see the localized problem, let's shift to section 2, the 48-hour ticking clock, and why time is absolutely your biggest enemy here. 48 hours, that's it. That is your crucial window. In our highly humid Virginia climate, mold spores do not wait around. They start multiplying rapidly within a mere 48 hours of water exposure. If that water is just allowed to sit there, or even if it's only superficially dried, your water damage problem very quickly evolves into a toxic mold problem. And trust me, that is significantly more expensive and a whole lot more dangerous to resolve. To beat that ticking clock, professional local dispatch teams actually aim for a 60-minute response time. Why 60 minutes? Because getting that standing water out immediately is literally the only way to prevent it from permanently destroying your structural framing and wicking straight up into the drywall. A fast response means lower repair costs, fewer displaced families, and, most importantly, stopping that mold growth dead in its tracks before that 48-hour window shuts. But hey, time isn't the only factor here. The contamination level matters immensely. It's absolutely vital to understand exactly what kind of water is flooding your home. River water, like the seasonal flooding from Swift Creek or the Appomattox River, isn't just water. It is classified as Category 3, also known as black water. This means it's heavily contaminated with dangerous pathogens, bacteria, and sometimes even raw sewage. You absolutely cannot just mop this stuff up. It requires hospital-grade decontamination, specialized personal protective equipment, and strict containment barriers just to make the home safe for humans again. This perfectly tees up Section 3, cleanup versus true restoration. Let's clear up a massive misconception. So, cleanup is what a homeowner might try to pull off, right? Mopping the surface, maybe pointing a cheap box fan at a soaking wet carpet, crossing their fingers and completely ignoring the water pooled up inside the wall cavities. True restoration, on the other hand, is a whole different ballgame. It involves commercial-grade truck-mounted extraction, low-grain refrigerant or LGR dehumidifiers, and targeted structural drying. It scientifically tackles all that hidden moisture that DIY methods completely leave behind. And that brings us to a critical term you definitely should know, the IICRC S500 standard. Now, this isn't just some arbitrary rulemaking. This is the professional blueprint for disaster recovery. It means professional teams don't just guess that a room is dry by touching it. They scientifically verify it. These standards dictate the exact procedures based on the category of water, the types of materials affected, and they require the use of properly calibrated moisture meters to ensure absolute compliance. Let's look at exactly how professionals enforce those strict drying standards in Section 4, the 3-step restoration process. The roadmap to recovery is incredibly clear and strict. Step 1 is inspection and water removal. The pros come in using thermal imaging cameras to actually see the water hiding behind your walls, which is then followed by heavy-duty extraction. Step 2 is drying and dehumidification. This is where industrial air movers and those LGR dehumidifiers run continuously for 3 to 7 days, just pulling moisture right out of the building's framing. Finally, Step 3 is the restoration and rebuild, where licensed contractors replace the unsalvageable drywall and flooring, returning the home back to its original state. But here's the thing. Drying is absolutely not a one-size-fits-all timeline. Different materials hold and release moisture at completely different rates. So while your standard drywall might take, say, 3 to 5 days to drop below a safe 15% moisture level, hardwood flooring takes way longer because wood just stubbornly holds on to water. And if that flood hits a basement with thick concrete foundation slabs, yeah, you're looking at 2 to 3 weeks of continuous dehumidification to get that properly dry. I absolutely love this quote because it emphasizes precision over assumptions. We do not guess when your home is dry. By using penetrating moisture meters and thermal cameras, these restoration professionals actually compare the affected areas to baseline measurements from the completely dry rooms in your house. They run the equipment until the math literally proves the moisture is gone. That ensures mold has absolutely zero places to hide in your framework. Finally, let's dive into Section 5, navigating your insurance claim. Because let's face it, the financial side is very often the most stressful part of this entire ordeal. Okay, here are the key insurance realities you really need to take away from this. First, sudden and accidental bursts, like a winter pipe rupture, are usually covered by standard homeowners policies. However, gradual leaks caused by a lack of maintenance or neglect, those are almost always excluded. And remember that river mater we just talked about? Flooding from nature requires a totally separate FEMA flood insurance policy. To make things a bit easier, professional restoration companies often offer direct billing to the insurance carrier to save you those massive out-of-pocket costs up front. But definitely note that insurers heavily prefer working with those IICRC certified contractors we talked about earlier. On top of that, your restoration team really needs to speak the insurance adjuster's exact language. And this is where Xactimate software comes into play. It's basically the gold standard estimating software in the insurance industry. By providing detailed moisture maps, drying logs, and Xactimate formatted estimates, a professional restoration company gives the adjuster exactly what they need. And that, my friends, is the absolute key to getting your claim quickly approved without a massive fight. So, knowing everything we've just covered about localized risks, climate challenges, and that incredibly rapid 48-hour mold window, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. What silent threats might be hiding behind your own walls right now? Whether it's a corroding cast iron pipe or expansive clay soil just pressing against your foundation, being aware of these hyperlocal risks is the crucial first step in protecting your property. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely stay vigilant out there.